immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The country needed to be rescued from the abyss into which it was plunging. The majority of you accepted my offer to lead that rescue mission. The full rescue team also includes you, the people.
Over the past 3 years, the solution economy has been growing. The growth is being experienced across many sectors, with business confidence up and unemployment down.
This government always defends the interests of the people of St. Lucia.
The 2 years after COVID, and then I get the $1,500. It helped me a lot, and it pushed me in front to open a little business. Now I can put food on my table right now.
When I heard about the MSME, I was like, boom, opportunity. I could make something actually happen, you know.
And young people must not suffer the frustration that they suffer when they go to other organizations.
Entrepreneurship is something that is needed in our country. We need people to take the leap and be entrepreneurs to help the economy grow.
He honored his promise, and I respect him, and I give him thanks. Philip J. Pierre, I thank you with all my heart and soul.
As Prime Minister, I promise to be Prime Minister not for some of the people, but for all the people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Tuesday afternoon to you.
The man.
20th of August 2024. Welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside Alton Jaquan Joseph, our technical operator. I hope you're having a good day so far, that everything is working as you had planned to your satisfaction. And sometimes when it does not work out the way that you had planned, you have everything to be thankful for, because at times when our plans don't get fulfilled, we see that it was actually a mercy that had it been fulfilled, we may have had something to rue, something to regret, something to grieve about. Always good to have faith in God and to believe that He has all things in His hands, in control. And I am one believer in that passage of scripture which says, in everything give thanks to God, for that is His will for you in Christ Jesus. There are not many people, or there are many people I know who don't believe that. They are not believers in it, in God, in Jesus and all of that. But just the same, be thankful. At times when things don't work out the way you want them to, it happens for a reason, for a good reason, and a reason for which you can be thankful. For some reason you decide not to take a certain route on your way to work, on your way to whatever, and then it's only when you've taken that detour, whatever, that you hear that there was something happening on the road, on the route that you would have taken, that might have gotten you into some problems, if not gotten you entangled into something, that would have been quite grievous, quite, deleterious, harmful to you, and so on. So we always have to think in that way, especially for those of us who are believers, who believe in the word, where it says that the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. And I'm sure we have many examples in our lives as to this. Okay, our program is weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on this radio station. That's Real FM. 91.3 the frequency for the north, 91.5 for the south. We also simulcast on MBC television, channel 120 on the Flow cable TV service, and we are also on Facebook Live, and as well streaming on YouTube Live as well. All right, I'm sorry for my voice if it's not coming across too good. I think I did tell you yesterday I appear to be having a brush with the flu. Hasn't really taken hold of me as I know it to do when it really takes hold of you. But my voice being one of the things that it has kind of affected its clarity, if not its quality. But I'm feeling a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday, in fact, after the program, the worst was yet to come. And there was the body pains and feeling yourself listless and beat up and so on. A kind of a dazed feeling. I think in our Creole we call it feeling egawe. Last night the sleep was poor because, when you have this body pains and body aches and so on, they can really prevent you from settling down, to lie down properly everywhere you turn, as they say, but I got through the night. And the other thing too was, I think we all can relate to the flu feelings. And a co-worker of mine yesterday, when I told him how I was feeling, he said, half jokingly, of course, please stay away from me. Don't come near me. I don't want to get that thing before you give that to me. And then this morning, I think the very first message that I was getting for the day was from that co-worker telling me that he got it. He said, Shelton, whatever you have, I think I got it. So I wrote back and I said, goodness, I'm feeling horrible today. And then he said, it's everywhere. The ride I got yesterday, there was a girl on board and she was coughing. So there seems to be some spreading about of it. People kind of be careful. This thing can make you feel, pretty bad, worse than it really is, and so on. Another thing that I tend to get and not like very much is what I would term midsection weakness. Where that part of your body from your chest down to your waist not only hurts, but it feels very weak. So that I might be standing, at a face basin, just brushing my teeth, which doesn't take a very long time, but just holding myself up feels like such an effort that sometimes, you got to interrupt the action of brushing my teeth and then bend over for a few seconds just to allow my midsection. But that feels different this morning. It feels better. It seems to have gone away, and I hope that if you're suffering with it, that you will feel better. So many things to cope with in the world. If it's not a chikungunya, it's a Zika. Now we're hearing about Mpox. It's a dengue. It's a COVID. And by the way, COVID is still around, okay? So many different things that we have to cope with, that wherever we can give ourselves, a little ease from one of them, so much the better for it. Speaking about co-workers, let me extend wishes for recovery if it's anything that's coming on to that particular co-worker. Let me also, another co-worker who has not been well lately, although when I saw him, he came to the station one time and from what I was told, it was a tremendous improvement that he had made. He was a man at Radio St. Lucia. We had a nickname for him that we call Wakatao. Yes, Lawrence Adonis. Lately has had a little challenge, health challenge, but he came to the station with his wife not too long ago, and it was such a pleasure to see him. He was on his feet, and I was told that he had improved greatly, was doing a lot better. So Wakatao, wherever you are this time, whatever you're doing, I hope your recovery continues. Of course, many people would know because they don't have that much reason to miss you, since they continue seeing your face via the recordings that you do of the program daily with Dr. McDowell. So you still seem, according to your face, that you are present with everybody. But it's nice to know that you are doing much better and that you'll soon be back with us once again. To your wife and the rest of your family, I also extend my good wishes to you as well. And to anyone else who's suffering from, any health challenge and so on, I do wish you the very best for recovery, whatever the interventions that are required, that you will get them, etc., etc. All right. Let's see if I have any messages. I saw a couple of them flashing there. I wanted to... all right. A friend called Betty says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. Be strong. Take care of that flu. I can see you're not well from your lips already. Are my lips dry or something?" I mustn't allow people to see those things. Thank you very much, Betty. I wet them. Do they look better now? Wow. You have a knack for spotting things, Betty. You should be in the medical field if you're not. She says, "Feel better. Life too much to handle, but you still have strength to be on the program." Believe you me, both yesterday and today, I kind of felt like calling Nigel and saying, I don't think, I can come in today. But every time I tell myself, look, I love doing this program, and I know too many people love it. Whenever I have had occasion not to do the program for any reason, the kinds of messages and calls that I get, as much from people inquiring about whether I'm okay as to why there isn't the program and how much they're missing it, that it gives me the strength to pull myself together. And this morning, or like I said, overnight, up to a point this morning, I wasn't feeling good at all. But then, as the day goes on, you say leave it as close as possible, although ideally I should tell the station manager as early as I can that I can't come in. But I leave it and I say, let's wait and see. And sometimes, just as the day goes by and the sun shines bright and so on, you just feel yourself, getting back to a place where you can handle it. And the energy of liking to do the program is something that is always with me. Good. Let me see. All right. Okay, thank you very much, Marie Frederick, who says, "Sorry to hear, Shelton. Get well soon, buddy." The fact that I'm here, that I'm on my feet and so on, I feel okay. There's a little joke that I share with Jaquan that coming from my home, there's a steep flight of steps that I must climb. And I never feel tired to come up the flight of steps to get outside to my vehicle and so on. But there's this flight of steps which isn't as steep here at MBC, coming from downstairs where the TV studio is up to, the level up where the radio studio is and where the program is hosted. I don't know why every time I come up this flight of steps leading to the radio studio where I host the program, it always seems to knock the wind out of me. It always seems to wipe me out. It always leaves me feeling tired. One of these days, Jaquan, you are going to confess to me what chembua, what obia, what, sorcery you do, that you put on those steps, that a steeper flight of steps at my home does not leave me winded and wiped out. But this last one to come up here, Jaquan could tell you, I blow air more than any kind of compressor when I come into the studio, and I feel like it's nothing when I come up the flight of steps from my home. So there must be something here. I don't know what I have to wooze and see me, and, somebody tell me, please, that I have to put there so that it doesn't get me as tired as it does. Just kidding, really, folks, It's probably because the one coming from my home is sheltered. So I don't have to deal with the sun at the same time, but coming up this one, you're in the full glare of the heat, and the last couple of days, it has been absolutely blistering. To be expected, we're in the tropics, we're in the hurricane season. As much as it brings rain and wind and all of that, we do know that it also brings some searing heat, and we were warned to be careful about heat wave conditions this year again. And it has been hot this year, but I continue to say this year is nothing like last year. Last year was really the beast, the monster. We've had some heat here, but it ain't nothing like what I experienced last year. Last year to me was one of the worst I've ever experienced, if not the worst, and I think the record showed that 2023 was the hottest one on record. Now, let me see. Good afternoon to you, Rachel. Thanks for your message. She says, make sure you have your lemon and honey bottle of water to sip on. Speedy recovery to you. I always make sure I'm well hydrated. Perhaps that is a saving grace and so on. The lemon and all of that. A lot of people recommend lemon to me and so on, but I can deal with grapefruit. I can deal with orange. But lemon, even when it's diluted in water, I just find there's a sourness about it that doesn't go away. And I am prone to, acidic stomach and so on. I don't get it all the time, but I'm prone to it. So, for example, I love grapefruit, I have to watch myself when I grew up on a farm where there were a lot of grapefruit trees. And eating grapefruit was just, especially when they are well ripened and so on, so they don't have too much of the sourness. And some grapefruits are naturally sweeter than others and so on. But the lemon, I don't know, I really could. Even when we had lemon trees that were bearing abundantly and so on, to make the lemonade or anything with lemon, I tended to stay away from it, as if it had a sourness about it that there's nothing you could do. The grapefruit, you could let it ripe a lot and so on, so that the acid on it would become sweeter and more sugary. The orange and so on, depending on what type of orange, like the Washingtons and so on. It was very good, but to me, lemon, there's nothing you can do about the acidity in it. It's just acidic. And even lime I could tolerate more, but lemon, I don't know why, I just couldn't tolerate it. Make a lime squash or something. To me, you could adjust the water or something in it, but lemon, as if there's nothing you can do with the sourness in it. It's just sour right through, So thank you very much for the suggestion. But lemon, in our Creole, we call it lime. Yeah, you would expect that lime would be lime, but lime is citron and lemon is lime. I don't know, the lime itself, I just could never get myself accustomed to it. So it's probably one of those citrus drinks, if they have them selling, you won't find me ordering. Lemonade, no thank you. All right, what other messages do we have here? All right, the link is up. Thank you very much for that, Jaquan, both on the Real Issues page. And I'm trying to see if we can get. Folks, I don't want to make much comment about what's going on with Medical and Dental Association and the letters that they have written and the press release that they have issued and so on about the conditions at OKU and so on. But I have to tell you this, and this is not taking a swipe at anybody. Since I came back, I don't think I've had any direct interactions with Dr. Merle Clark. In my previous days at Radio St. Lucia, 90 Minutes, whatever, she was my guest on a couple of occasions. And I have to say she's somebody that, people, you don't have to know them, you get to like them. I find her a likable person. I like the way that doctors who share their knowledge and who educate people and who take time to speak things. I think she subsequently got her own program doing that. And you kind of develop a liking for her. She's obviously very intelligent. She's very outspoken. And we can't make people be what we want them to be when we want them to be so, I just want to say that I have a degree of respect for her. I hold her in some regard, the kind of person, and I tend to like doctors like that if you ask them something, they'll take time to elaborate. Like I said, the late Dr. Martin Didier, Dr. Siles Wilson, these are the names that come to. It doesn't mean there aren't others. Dr. Janice Stanley, Dr. Alfonso St. Rose. These are doctors who, I don't know if it's because I'm a media person, but they would take time to really explain things to me, and I became a lot more educated. And education is not just when you go to class and when you go to school. Your whole life should be an education, where they explain things to you. And so I come out there with a lot of knowledge and better understanding. So when you hear me speak about things medical and so on, it's not because I'm making any pretensions to being a doctor. It's because of the interactions I had with those doctors, and Dr. Merle Clark was one of them. I know sometimes we judge things from a distance. We're not really in the cauldron, in the fire. We're not in the situation of absolute chaos and craziness that they have to face and so on. in emergency room where they have to hear the screams of patients and the cries and thing, and they don't have bandages and they don't have this and that. I know. I think I can relate to that. The absolute frustration of chaos that they have to face every single day, round the clock, sometimes on shifts that they were supposed to have gone home a long time, but they have to stay there on extended shifts because of shortages. We cannot even begin. Yes, they're trained for that kind of thing. They're trained to have a certain amount of detachment, but it is very difficult to be a doctor and not to have some of your empathy crowding upon you when you see, people suffering, people bleeding, people this, there's not a bed to... I think I understand that. However, I want to say I think that part of the training of a doctor is that they would have a certain equanimity about them, a certain degree of composure of mind, so that even in frustrating situations that they don't lose their cool, that they don't blow their top. I mean, that's the way I see it. And I have to say, I saw a letter which was leaked or deliberately whatever put out, that Dr. Clark, in her position as the head or the president, I think it is, of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, wrote to the chairperson of the Millennium Heights Medical Complex. I think the person's name is Joanna Reynold Atherton. And I just felt the language was, kind of strong. It kind of, I was taken aback by it, probably shocked by it and so on. And I said one of two things. In fact, I wrote in the group where that thing came out, I think it's really that bad at OKEU that it would prompt or move a doctor to write in that tone. I mean, the letter seemed like it was, for want of a better word, it didn't seem like it was seeking a solution. It seemed like it was sucking it to somebody. It was an attack letter to me. And I said to myself, I don't want to come and pretend that I know Dr. Clark better than anybody else or as well as anybody else. But I said to myself, the doctor that I think I have seen and heard and so on, for her to pen such a letter, it means that she and those she represents are really frustrated. They're at the end of the rope. They absolutely, have had enough. I've had too much. I've had it up to their neck, up to their nose, whatever and so on. But I kind of felt the professionalism, the very intensive, extensive training of a doctor, and not just a doctor who's fresh out of university and medical school, but a doctor who has been in the system, a doctor who has had appointments, positions, nephrologist, this, that, whatever officer and so on. That kind of letter, I kind of felt, I don't know, unless it was that other letters had been written, other communications had been had, and they were not getting the response, and they just kind of felt, this is it. We got to blow off some steam on this one. I don't know, but I was surprised. Lo and behold, the Prime Minister, as is his style, as is his way of doing things, decided he was going to have a meeting with he and the Minister of Health. I think Minister Moses Jean-Baptiste was my guest on a program that I was hosting. Was it Zafeno? Can't remember. But he said they were due to meet with the Medical and Dental Association that same day. And so he was kind of putting me on notice that he had to kind of truncate the time that he could spend with me because they had to go on. I don't really know what came out of that meeting, but I'm assuming that there was a meeting with the Prime Minister. And when the Prime Minister speaks on something, that is the highest that you can speak to. Nobody above the Prime Minister. And even if you feel that a certain minister said anything that was out of line, the fact is you have had conversations with the Prime Minister. Minister Richard Frederick is not above the Prime Minister. And if the Prime Minister gave you certain undertakings and assurances, the Prime Minister has spoken. Anybody else who speaks from a level sub-prime ministerial. They're below the Prime Minister. And you've been granted an audience with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health. So I don't know why it's necessary to come out and to pen another letter. If you touch Dr. Clark, you touch us all, and you think my friend, you've spoken to the Prime Minister. And if the Prime Minister, I don't know what he told you, but if he said to you, look, your concerns, we are going to address them, and we're going to address them in this time frame, and this is how we're going to approach it, this is the phased approach or whatever that we're going to take, these are some of the issues. I don't know why we have a tendency in this country where everybody before anything wants to take out their shirt and ask somebody else to fight, you know. The Prime Minister is the highest authority, the highest executive authority. He's the head of the cabinet. He's head of government. In the parliament, he's called primus inter pares, first among equals, you know. You had an audience with him, he has spoken. You did not come out and put a press release out and say, okay, we spoke to the Prime Minister and we've been given the assurance XYZ, ABC, whatever. Until the Prime Minister, as the highest possible authority that you can take your grievances to, fails to keep up to whatever undertakings that he has given you. I'm not saying to ignore, you know, but maybe you can pen a letter and say, you know, we are disappointed that after we have spoken to the Prime Minister, certain utterances by a minister, etc., and we call on the Prime Minister to, you know, whatever, you know, even if you want to ask him to reprimand or whatever you do, but, you know, this, you touch Dr. Clark, you touch all of us. I mean, come on. It's unnecessary. It's excessive and unnecessary aggression. You get the feeling that some of us, that we relish the prospect or the opportunity for a fight than we do the opportunity for a resolution. Now, I talk about politics and who may have political ambitions and who's related to somebody else by the same surname, and they might be. Ain't nothing wrong with a doctor having political ambitions. Ain't nothing wrong with a doctor, you know, wanting to run or to support the family that's running. I believe it would be unethical to use the organization that is meant to advocate and to lobby whatever for doctors and people in the medical field and so on, just like anybody else, a trade union and so on, you know. I think we've seen too much of that, of people who come pretending that they're on some kind of mission, and then what they do, they piggyback and they jockey, you know, an organization in the furtherance of a political ambition which they try to be well disguised and so on. In other words, the whole dishonesty of it. And I will keep talking about Mary Isaac and Wilfred Pierre Company for a long time, who made believe that they were there to put the CSA on a better footing and so on, and to depoliticize it so it could focus upon its work as a trade union and this kind of thing. We know otherwise. We know what the aim was. I keep saying to this day, Norbert Williams the late, may he continue to rest in peace. Not a bone of antagonism in me towards the guy. Came here and it was all about a sex offenders registry that they wanted to do, on the Zandoli promotions or whatever they call. Did they ever do anything about sex offenders registry after UWP won the election and Norbert accommodated himself, you know, as whatever his position was, you know, press secretary or attaché or whatever it was and so on? You get the feeling that it's a game that they play where they disguise themselves under something which which has some kind of legitimacy and which they can sell to people with greater receptivity on the part of those they're selling it to, because they think it is a genuine thing when it is anything but. That's the kind of dishonesty that I don't like. Sarah Flood, who I could call a friend, I have nothing, no animosity. You've heard me say it many times. Sarah took what many people saw, and I'm not saying it was not at the time, a principled position on one provision, a tiny, tiny provision in the revised criminal code pertaining to the situations where abortion could be legally performed if the mother's life was in danger, if she was a victim of rape or incest. Very tiny thing, and the conditions that thing gave about no more than 4 months and into the pregnancy. I know the people who wrote that, they didn't want anybody to have any right to abortion, because by the time you go around with all the legal back and forth halika say about the 4 months and to determine whether the person was in fact raped, whether it was in fact incest, and all the DNA testing and all, 4 months passed already. I think they didn't want to, but you know, that's not the point. The point is that Mrs. Flood Bobre went to war with her party, with her government, ostensibly over that and so on. And I mean, we know what was said, the thing, you know, there was an actual rally on the Derek Walcott Square, the pronouncements on various talk shows, like, I mean, her eyes were bloodshot, she just had a baby, you know. And you know the wisdom of the old people, they tell you, low and just for Hishunipo, you know, you have to cool down or else you might get a quiz, or you might make a whatever it is, and you know, so something may happen to you. I forget the term that they use and so on. The lady was absolutely livid. I mean, she was like hysterical over this thing. And then UWP won, and she became part of the UWP apparatus and so on. First as speaker, then as deputy ambassador. Not once did I ever hear her stand up and advocate for the repeal of that section of the criminal code and say, look, when I was with the other side, they brought this thing and I want to urge that we repeal this. Never once did she stand up and take up. It was there on the law books. I'm not saying they would have listened to her, but she never once took up the cause. At least not publicly, of it being repealed. And that is why I say there is a hypocrisy about it. If it's your politics you want to push and you've fallen out with Kenya and the Labour Party, then so be it. You might even want to say so or not. But don't come and make it look like it's a principled position that evaporates into thin air the moment there is a change of dispensation insofar as which party controls the government. You know, I have problems with this kind of thing. And so coming back to Medical and Dental Association, I don't have any issue with if there is a political agenda by individual members, but is the organization being used for it now? The matter of political agenda is not one that concerns me. Let it concern Richard Frederick and other people who may have a direct skin in the game and so on, if they think that, you know, it is being a kind of a smokescreen to come at them and so on. May well be and so on. But here's the point that I really want to make about this. The problems at OKEU did not begin in the last year or 2 years or 3 years. The makings of those problems have been there for a few years. And that is the problem with when things are done willy-nilly, vitae, you know, crazy as the Mad Hatter in this country. People, when you come and you take over and you are expected to cure and to resolve those problems, it becomes your problem because you are the government and government is continuous, but it becomes your blame. And the problem is in between the time that these things were allowed to fester, by the time you come in, they are a lot worse than the times when they began and the contributing factors to them. So people expect you now to fix in 3 years what is a 7-year-old problem. And here is the problem upon that problem. If you were to go and put yourself under pressure to fix it overnight because everybody is crying out for a solution, and you were to go and try to fix them pell-mell, chances are you are going to worsen the problem. Because the reason you have the problem in the first instance is because the approach to whatever caused the problem was not well thought out. It was not well considered. The repair, the resolution, it needs to be well thought out. It needs to be better thought out than the absolute madness that caused the problem in the first place. And people don't want to hear that. If the tiles were not put down properly because they gave the contract to somebody who really doesn't know well about putting tiles in a big building where it's not the same as a residential tile laying and so on, because you have hundreds of people, different feet and trolleys and all rolling over it. So it has to be put into a different standard. But then to go on to pull up all those tiles and so on, it's going to take closing down, closing off a certain section. Are you able to do that now? Do a whole lot of things. You know, how do you address the problem? But people want you to solve it. And so the problems may have been there for a long time, but you are under pressure to solve them overnight. You try to go and do that overnight solution, what you will end up with is a galmacha, as we say in our Creole, an even worse problem than you had before. And my understanding of this Labour Party administration and its leader Philip JP and the ministers with him is that they want everything they do to be done in a manner that withstands the test of time and scrutiny, that it is well thought out, that it is well managed. And so if you have problems and you want to apply solutions, take a very studied and measured approach to it. Now, at times while you're doing that, the problem is getting worse, you know. You have a problem with the tiles coming up and nearly tripping over people as they're running through with a trolley to do something and so on. In the time that it'll take to do it, sometimes the problem actually gets worse. You don't want it to get worse. But sometimes when things have been allowed to go bad, in order to get them better, they have to go through an intermediary, period where they actually get worse. And this is what I'm being told, that a lot of the problems being complained of about OKEU They have been there for a while. It's not a question of whether it was under Labour or under UWP. We like to do that too much. Under the Labour Party, under this and under that and so on. That's irrelevant when it comes to a hospital, when it comes to healthcare. I hope those problems can be resolved and resolved post-haste. However, I want to say, for all the frustration and the exasperation that they may occasion, I do not believe that the aggressive and hostile tone, almost like, I want to fight kind of communication that I have seen, that it is necessary, that it cannot be dealt with otherwise. I'm not convinced that it cannot be dealt with otherwise. We have to lower the temperature of anger in this country. We have seen what it is causing in terms of the security and the safety of the country. Muntwa awaje. Muntwa eze pou yo vin awaje, pou yo vin désolé, pou yo vle goumen. We may not believe it, but when we engage in this kind of temperature rising anger, and our anger becomes an inferno, it is beaming, it is communicating something to the wider society. Not everybody, by dint of learning and education and training and professionalism, have their minds fortified to differentiate against those things and not to allow them to have, a kind of a coercive or at least a persuasive effect upon us. That being angry and being enraged is the way to go. I have to be careful as a broadcaster. I know language and some of its nuances, and I know how to express and measure, but I have to be careful. Do not come and abuse the privilege that I have as a broadcaster, that I have a microphone to come and to be inflammatory and so on. At Shelton Daniel, I may be doing it as an act, as a performance in a studio to achieve a certain degree of rhetorical and dramatic effect. There may be people, and I don't want to say the obvious names and so on, who are listening to me out there, and because they do not have this background of communications and broadcasting, and they do not understand the difference between when somebody is putting on a show, on a talk show, that this person is not to be taken literally. They might end up taking it literally, and I am saying I may well be transmitting, I may well be conveying, I may well be transposing my anger upon and into those people who may decode it, internalize it, and express it in a manner that is anything but what I myself would have done. Which is not to say some people do not do it deliberately, but when you are somebody who holds positions like doctor, you have to be very careful how you express yourself so that it does not get implanted into psyches that are not as fortified as yours by education. And then the manner in which it is decoded and expressed is utterly deleterious to our society. We have seen enough of that so far, I think. Too much of it. The real issues is on. Stay tuned. We take a commercial break, and when we come back, I won't be long in opening the phone lines to you for your calls, and I'll also be looking at your messages as well.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The country needed to be rescued from the abyss into which it was plunging. The majority of you accepted my offer to lead that rescue mission. The full rescue team also includes you, the people.
Over the past 3 years, the solution economy has been growing. The growth is being experienced across many sectors, with business confidence up and unemployment down.
This government always defends the interests of the people of St. Lucia.
The 2 years after COVID, and then I get the $1,500. It helped me a lot, and it pushed me in front to open a little business. Now I can put food on my table right now.
When I heard about the MSME, I was like, boom, opportunity. I could make something actually happen, you know.
And young people must not suffer the frustration that they suffer when they go to other organizations.
Entrepreneurship is something that is needed in our country. We need people to take the leap and be entrepreneurs to help the economy grow.
He honored his promise, and I respect him, and I give him thanks. Philip J. Pierre, I thank you with all my heart and soul.
As Prime Minister, I promise to be Prime Minister not for some of the people, but for all the people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man,
The real issues on this Tuesday, the 20th of August 2024. And to demonstrate our Prime Minister's nature, his character, as a problem solver, as someone who's interested in solving problems, not in quarreling and fighting over them. There's an article on Loop St. Lucia News, which was published a few hours earlier today, and it says PM Pierre unveils $10 million injection into OKEU Hospital, backed by what? Backed by the CIP. CIP funds. These days, some people are only interested in tarnishing the CIP and showing it as something that is ridden with scandal and it's all, well, 3 words they know, I tell you already. is scandal, shameless, and shocking. Of course, they have another one now, bombshell. You know, there's always some kind of shocking revelations, but in the next line it says the allegations. I don't know how it's revelations and then it becomes allegations. A revelation is a done deal. It's already stitched and sewn up. You know, if it's a revelation of things that were not known as now. Anybody can make allegations. Anybody can make allegations. You know. But it's always something about shocking revelations. And shameless. Somebody's always somewhat. You know, but some people have no shame about the naked victimization that they practice against what is supposed to be their own people. The people that you lead, the people that you govern, the people that you're supposed to be the chief shepherd of them. When you're the prime minister, you're supposed to be the chief shepherd of the people, looking out for the good, for the well-being, for the welfare of all the people. Not to sow nakedly, not to sow. I mean, what's a good word for that? To tell me you're just watching at people and because their constituency voted for opposition MPs other than your party, you're just cutting off funding for them like that? Under a program that you continue to let yours get money, so it's like the people who, you know, you mean to tell me in those constituencies you were not mindful of your own people, the people who voted for you, even if they did not vote in sufficient numbers to make a majority that would have given your party. You didn't care about the UWP people in Denry North. You didn't care about the UWP people in Viewfort North, in Viewfort South, in Labrie, in Castries South, in Castries East. They didn't matter to you. You were going to squeeze everybody just to spite constituencies where the other side in the minority overall, but they got a majority. And you want to come and talk about being shameless? Where there is no sense of justice in you. This is the public coffers money. What right do you have to do this kind of thing? But always come in and talk about shameless. Everything is a scandal because you want to make it a scandal, because you want to show that this is a government that is mired in scandal, that has a huge millstone of scandal hanging around its neck, and that it is sinking and that it is drowning. Lie, 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 lie. Bringing in foreigners into our business, a foreigner who talking with a kind of a loud arrogance about him, like this man is talking down to us, telling us what's good for us and what's not good, and how he will come and recover money that was taken from us and restore patrimony to us. I look at him, and who the hell he be to have his mouth all up in our business, Sona? You know? Who he be to have his mouth all up in our business? We have to stop this kind of thing. We have to push back. This is not about Ernest D. Lay or about McClaudy Manuel or about anybody like that. This is about, you know, a foreigner, a criminal foreigner, a foreigner who's no example, no pattern upon which we should model ourselves. Nothing about him for us to emulate. A man who has run his businesses so poorly that now he finds himself owing people in debt all over the place. He cannot rescue things, and so he thinks he can frighten us into giving him some kind of concession, some kind of arrangement. And to think people who have held the position of prime minister, they're encouraging this thing, but what else can we expect? When they can be so naked in their victimization against the very people they're supposed to lead, that they will deprive them funds and support for entire constituency, which include their own supporters, just because they did not capture the seat in that constituency. How much more evil does it get than that? And that is just one example among many. How much more evil and wicked and unconscionable does it get than that? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about the savagery that we never expected would come out of a certain level of the socio-economic, you know, strata of our society. You expect people who come from, you know, well-heeled and you know, people who have class and clout and so on, that they would have a greater culture about them. Instead, we saw more ignorance. We saw more neg-mao behavior from someone who's not a neg. It's a pity that neg and black and so on, they always end up getting the bad references. But Alan Shastner's behavior was a lot more neg-mao than any neg, you know, himself. This man is a brute. He was then and he still is now. Who does the kind of thing this fellow is doing, tag teaming with a criminal foreigner to try to embarrass the country and mess up the country and so on, just so that he believes that by doing so, he will make the government look like it is less than what it is and so on. Who does this kind of thing? You know, and this is, like I said, just one example. There's just so many of them. Maybe we should stop using this thing about Neg Maon, because I'm telling you, this is more than a beche Maon. This is a beche Sauvage. This is a beche Selewa. This is a beche méchant. No, you know, totally invidious and unjust this man has been. Martinez is coming and talk down to us as if we have to take our cue from him and so on. Martinez, who the are you, garçon? And you understand because you're French. Garçon, who are you? Who the so-and-so are you for you to want to come and talk down to us like the kind of way? Only because somebody who's roughly the same skin color as you is encouraging you to do this foolishness. Do you know these people are calling? And Odasilia was right. These people are calling people at the CIP office and threatening them. It's happening for true. Harassing them with calls. Telling them that if they do not resign, they might end up finding themselves stuck in that, catching that. They might, if they have a visa, they might lose it. And this and that and the other. All kind of nonsense. Some have allowed themselves to quake at the knees and so on and to pack it in. Maybe no more than 2. You know, but they're continuing to do it. It is true. They're trying to intimidate people at the citizenship by investment unit. Asking the CEO for a meeting which was supposed to be a goodwill, friendly chat and so on. And then now coming and threatening that you have recordings and so on. That was just the beginning. They're trying to do it with everybody. Sometimes a casual conversation to say I spoke to so and so. So people will be suspicious. Will be wondering if that guy spoke. What did he say? Whatever. That's what is going on there. Scandalous behavior. How can someone who's filing a lawsuit called RICO, which stands for Racketeering Influenced Corrupt or Criminal Organization, you know, how can they be engaging in that pattern of behavior and you want to go and file a lawsuit about racketeering? Isn't that a racket that you run in there? A racket of intimidation, a racket of browbeating, a racket of blackmail, a racket of false and deliberate entrapment, you know, to be trying to entrap people in conversations and to use the claim that you have records of them saying things and so on to intimidate them. When you say you filed in a lawsuit, isn't that a racket itself? You know, a racket of a browbeating, bribery, intimidation and so on. And by the way, RICO allows people, as I have told you before, I'm going to read the article, you know, mind you, it's just that sometimes some things you know, you cannot help but be impassioned about it. Our country has been through too much. Natural things like the hurricanes and whatever, political upheavals and so on, and all of what our country, and for people who are supposed to have a nurturing and shepherding heart for the country are the ones trying to destroy it. They do not mind, they so believe it is their right to rule the country that they don't mind to burn it down, even if they will only be able to be kings and rulers of the ashes. That's what they want. Burn it down. That's what it takes for us to rule. We'll rule the ashes. How much more evil than that does it get? But I was saying, the RICO allows a civil lawsuit on the basis that you, a person or company or whatever entity, feel that you suffered loss or damage or whatever it was as a result of this racketeering influence criminal organization. But in order for you to sue for losses, the entity you are suing must first have been found and declared to be a RICO, a racketeering influence criminal organization. That is a criminal process. That's not something that can be undertaken. There first has to be a trial and a declaration with convictions that what you are suing is in fact established as a racketeering influence criminal organization or corrupt organization, a RICO. You don't just go and sue for RICO redress and compensation and so on without any declaration that what you are suing is in fact a RICO. Has there been any trial or any declaration, whether within the Caribbean or in the United States, that has declared and convicted the citizenship by investment programs and its officials and Galaxy whatever of being RICOs, of being racketeering influence, criminal or corrupt organizations? Has there been any such declaration? When there is such a conviction and it is established in US law, then you can go and file a civil lawsuit and say, as a result of their racketeering and their corruption and their criminality, I lost money and so on, and so I am suing. So then that trial will be to determine, one, whether in fact you did suffer loss, whether the loss was as a result of the RICO, criminal enterprise. What is the amount of loss that you suffered, and how much redress or compensation are you entitled to? Under the RICO civil lawsuit, you can actually recover amounts 3 times what you actually lost. So if you said you lost $1 million, the court has the discretion to say that they will award you $3 million instead of just the $1 million, if there are those assets to take. You taking the CIU and this and that and McLeod to court under RICO, supposedly because the civil lawsuit only allows you, it's not for a declaration. You cannot, as a private citizen or entity, go and sue to have them declare the RICO. That is a function of U.S. prosecutors, the public authority at the state or federal level, that they will run such a trial and they will declare that this thing is a criminal enterprise and it's racketeering influence. And when it does so, then you can come, And as a matter of fact, you know what the RICO law says? If you have been convicted, if you have been found guilty of running a RICO, racketeering influence criminal organization, when you see the person sues you, you can't defend. The only thing, in other words, you have already been found to be a RICO. The only thing now the court has to find is whether the person who is suing you, they did suffer the loss, whether the loss was as the result of the RICO, what is the extent of the loss and the compensation towards. You cannot put up any defense against being a RICO. Say, oh, that's not true. You are already convicted as a RICO. The U.S. courts, the public courts and so on have already found you guilty. You've been convicted. So the person who brings the RICO does not have to establish any basis that you are a RICO or not, and whether it's legitimate and so on. You've already been convicted. How can a man want to go and file a RICO civil lawsuit when the entities that he is suing, they have not yet been found, they have not yet been convicted, it has not yet been established in the criminal jurisdiction that they are RICOs, racketeering influence criminal organizations or corrupt organizations? How can that man be doing that? But anyway, let me read the article. I'll come back to a bit about that. I said I was going to open the phone lines, but I will. There's always so much things to say. PMP unveils $10 million injection into OKU hospital backed by CIP. In a decisive move to address long-standing financial challenges within the island's health sector, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has announced a significant financial investment into the Owen King EU, OKEU hospital, in what he says is a move to stabilize and improve the economic condition of the country's primary healthcare facility. We are going to invest $10 million in the first instance, and we are very happy to know that it will come from the CIP program into the OKEU hospital to pay debts that were there before July 2021. We are paying these debts, Prime Minister Pierre stated during his address on Monday. In addition to this initial injection, the Prime Minister revealed that the Ministry of Finance is set to contribute an additional $5 million, bringing the total investment into the OKEU hospital to $15 million. Despite this substantial financial boost, Pierre tempered expectations, cautioning that immediate improvements in hospital services might not be forthcoming. That doesn't mean if you go to the hospital tomorrow, things will be better. The Prime Minister also highlighted the broader financial difficulties facing the health sector, acknowledging that outstanding debts to suppliers, both local and regional, have been a persistent issue since before the COVID-19 pandemic. There are suppliers that have been owed since pre-COVID, Pierre admitted. Among the outstanding obligations is a $2 million debt owed to the French government for overseas medical care, a liability that has lingered since 2001. Expressing gratitude for their patience, Pierre affirmed his commitment to rectifying the situation. I want to thank them for being so patient, he said, adding, I am going to try to put the health sector on a proper financial footing. Do you hear the Prime Minister denying that there are problems? He doesn't deny that there are problems. He never went and said this person lie, whatever. It's a matter of we are going to work on it, but some of the problems, they predated us by far and so on. But we're gonna do what we can to deal with it. He never said that. He never denied that there's problem. You never hear him cussing out anybody. You never hear him saying, that you should not have said this and whatever. He is very calmly saying, we are going to, and he's managing expectations. This 15 million that we'll put in, don't expect that it will turn things around. Our hospital is a very expensive operation. OKEU cost about 90 million a year to run. 90 million. That's about what we're talking about. 7 million and change, 7.5 million per month that you have to find to run it. You understand what I'm saying? And here where the money is coming from the CIP program. The people who are there riling up things with Medical and Dental Association, and when I say riling up, I'm not saying medical is in cahoots with anybody. They may be, I don't know that. But the people who, before anything, they're already pumping the air and so on because, we have them. We got them. Medical and Dental Association have them under pressure, The people who are doing that are the same people who are trying to destroy the CIP. I have the name, of another official of CIP that they're now working on to try to intimidate the person and all kind of thing. But I won't say. But these are the people who are trying to destroy the CIP, are the same ones who are trying to see if they can foment and instigate protest, and doctors will, down their tools and this kind of thing, so there'll be a crisis. They're just trying to foment crisis because they know on their own they cannot stand up and convince people that they deserve a second chance. All they can try to do is to destabilize the country as much as possible and hope that on the wave of that destabilization that they can ride back into office. Take care that wave of destabilization don't crash you against the cliffs and you end up wrecking yourself even more. The good Lord watches out, when people are being manipulated and used by people who have only selfish intentions and ambitions. People talk about God don't like ugly and so on. I say God don't like injustice. He does not like evil. He does not like deviousness. That we know for sure. When it comes to the ugly, I ain't joining that. I don't know what is ugly, what is considered to be ugly, whatever. We have our notions of ugly. Many of them have been imposed upon us by the, by the racist colonization and enslavement that we had. A broad nose and thick lips and all that is ugly. And this, I ain't joining this ugly conversation and so on. But I know evil things. The Lord has spoken quite clearly that his hand is against those who practice and promulgate those things. Real Issues is on. Let's take another break. Our last one. And when we come back this time, the lines are open for your calls.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatments that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The country needed to be rescued from the abyss into which it was plunging. The majority of you accepted my offer to lead that rescue mission. The full rescue team also includes you, the people.
Over the past 3 years, the solution economy has been growing. The growth is being experienced across many sectors, with business confidence up and unemployment down.
This government always defends the interests of the people of St. Lucia.
The 2 years after COVID, and then I get the $1,500. It helped me a lot, and it pushed me in front to open a little business. Now I can put food on my table right now.
When I heard about the MSME, I was like, boom, opportunity. I could make something actually happen, you know.
And young people must not suffer the frustration that they suffer when they go to other organizations.
Entrepreneurship is something that is needed in our country. We need people to take the leap and be entrepreneurs to help the economy grow.
He honored his promise, and I respect him, and I give him thanks. Philip J. Pierre, I thank you with all my heart and soul.
As Prime Minister, I promise to be Prime Minister not for some of the people, but for all the people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Take your calls. There's a video clip I wanted to play and comment on it, but it's going to take too long. 487-9849. Just remember that 487-9849. That is the number for our WhatsApp line where you can WhatsApp call us. And you also can call us on the usual landline 4533-911. All right, so 487-9849, the WhatsApp calling line. And the 4533-911. I think we're about to get our first call. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. The Real Issues. You're on.
Hey, Shelton.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I'm good, thanks.
Yes, man.
I will say something here. And with no pun intended, And I want to, what I'm saying is I hope it could encourage other people to join in on Sunday for the batch.
The walk of progress.
The walk for more progress. That's my interpretation. The walk for more progress.
All right.
Shelton, I have reasons not to march, not to walk, if I have to take it personally. I have reasons not to walk. But I have found myself, even last night I was watching the Democrat convention, and which I will call it a Joe Biden moment, where it is more for country rather than for self. You know with me?
Yes, I'm there.
So when I analyze what is going on with me, with certain people in the party, I may have reason not to walk. But when I look at the bigger picture with Philip Joseph Pierre, then yes, policies, when they not even have a meeting, il a dit walk là. Walk là c'est désert, et ben toi désert.
Désert de mieux.
Garçon monde not even cité bon matin, il camp là. Yeah, because Philip Joseph Pierre, which I call him Saint Pierre, have not failed me. It has not failed St. Lucia. So in a Joe Biden moment, which he said last night, that he do it for country and not for self. I know there are others like me that have their own moments, but let us show our strength and support for the policies of St. Philip Joseph Pierre. So for that reason, Shelton, as a Monday must shape when I camp from Libby Sunday.
Who's also an advisor?
Huh?
Est-ce que whatever moun ki a party à to that any difference if match alongside you man, me ko boy yo esprit.
Gas Nike popula pour match AP St. Philip ak na match ak akolik la. Gas mo gawe blag. Ou gawe blag. Na je fais ça.
Non, de le.
So I'll be alongside the Pope.
De le peut-être ça va faire yo hot koyo, de le peut-être ça va faire yo check koyo qui va dire ouais monsieur c'est un nom ça. Après
oh, OK, de le savoir.
Après
mais na yo de Pope là.
Après match with monsieur Biek, monsieur still mette koyo alongside moi avec match avec moi camarade, vous comprenez?
Yeah, well, ça fait ça fait because we are human. And human beings have the feelings and emotions and the egos and all kind of things.
That's right.
But you see, Joseph Pierre, the government of St. Lucia, led by Philip Joseph Pierre, his policies,
yes,
spot on. I not match for that.
Okay.
Not match for more, not power match, and now work for more progress.
Okay.
For more progress.
Avant aller me vouloir dire anti parole encouragement pour l'autre monde pour encourager yo pour participer en dedans work for progress ça qui
non mais c'est ça n'a dit yo.
Non me vouloir dire encore.
Non well na di monde qui ka coûter moi là. Nous ni là les monde qui des difficultés yo. Etc. MP, certains ministres, c'est de date. Mais là, regardez tête là, regardez policy, nom là, Philippe Joseph Pierre, n'a encouragé yo pour forget MP. Rush their side. Forget MP. And aller à marcher pour plus progrès pour pays ça, because pays ça à la right track.
Okay.
Pays à la right track, so fait comme moi, il n'y a pas de problème moi ni problème moi. Quelqu'un nous même ça.
Oui.
Moi ni problème moi. Mais na mettre ça derrière de moi. Na mettre ça derrière de moi. Et pays a plus important. Pays a plus important pour ni Philippe Pierre continuer. Et pour la ciseler, passer moi mais Alan Chasne là.
OK, d'accord.
On a dit tout le monde vient marcher pour plus progrès.
OK, merci un pile.
All right.
OK. 487-9849 and 4533-911 are the numbers to dial to get on the real issues. Let me say good afternoon to Anselma Amab, who comes by a name I can't pronounce. Good afternoon to you, Cecilia Sari as well, and Elizabeth Myrtle Charles, as well as Miguel Favrier, who says his partner Madonis. I know it's Adonis, he probably has added an M for some reason, I don't know. I hope Wakatao can take that and he doesn't come at you, swing one at your top, We have another caller on the line. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real
good
issues.
afternoon, Mr. Daniel.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, this man, Alan Shasley, I believe this man is the most deceitful, cunning, and divisive politician that has ever entered our politics.
Mm-hmm.
And his sole aim is to get into power by any means necessary. And he also believes
I wouldn't say it's even necessary
that because of his so-called pedigree, that he have a right to rule us, that we're supposed to be slaves under him, and he's our master. So there's nothing concerning corruption that he can get on Philip J. Pierre and the St. Lucia Labour Party. So he's resorting to all kinds of lies and distortion to create confusion, because he himself has made certain promises to Martinez, making him believe that the failed projects that didn't take off in St. Kitts, that he could come here and implement it. But we will not allow that to happen. And we'll send a strong message to him on Sunday that we will never allow that to happen. Yeah, thank you.
All right, okay. Conrad, good afternoon to you. He says the Windward Islands are getting better with healthcare. Vibes Cartel trusted St. Vincent over Martinique, UK or America. Good point. Let me see. Miguel says it's sad that he's dead. Okay, I'm not sure who is he referring to. Okay. All right, he's talking about the late Norbert Williams. All right, we'll just leave that alone. Like we say, let him continue to rest in peace. We have another call on the line. Good afternoon. Real issues.
Good afternoon, Chelda.
Hi, caller. I'm hearing you very faintly.
Oh, listen.
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but you're sounding kind of distant and faint, so I don't know if you can put your mouth closer to your phone or something. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes. The call is coming like it's cutting in and out,
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you now, yes.
Okay. Sheldon, I heard you speaking this afternoon, and it really hurts me to see and to hear you speak with a passion. And if everybody would take what you say and put it into practice, you would have a better St. Lucia. And I'm talking about KEU Hospital. And I am not blaming the government for the hospital. I'm blaming the workers, Sheldon. I have a friend that's at the hospital. It's about 2 a week now he's there. And the people put 2 tables and a piece of Macintosh on it and give that individual to lie down on it in a hallway. And they're asking for a bed sheet. They say no bed sheet. You understand me, Sheldon? And I sure deep down in my heart there is bed sheet in the hospital. Wow. These nurses, they are on their phone 24/7. They don't care with people. They don't bathe people. They don't help people. And he's supposed to get oxygen. They amputate one of his toes. The bandage is leaking. They're not cleaning it. And the man is just lying on a piece of Macintosh in a hallway. This is heartbreaking to see your loved one there. But the happy ending was somebody called an individual and said something to them. And the individual called high authority and said, there is a such and such a person in the hallway. I want them on a bed properly. It did not take 5 minutes. They got a bed, they got a bed sheet, they got a pillow, and they put him on it. So Sheldon, where was that bed sheet and the pillow?
You have to ask yourself.
No, it is heartbreaking to see these things happening.
Yes, I've heard a lot of people say that that they
and they're blaming the government.
Yeah,
where are the bed sheets? Why are you getting it for some? I have a friend. Her aunt was in the hospital, and when they knew that, they went down right away. The lady was lying down on the same Macintosh, pee under her. She's not bathed, nothing. And when they asked, when she said, I'm going to call the media to come here, they got bed sheets, they got everything, but she did not use it. She went and take it at her home, and she brought them in the hospital. They don't, what the nurses are doing, they don't bathe people anymore. They don't clean you. They're just getting a salary for nothing. So if my mother is in the hospital, I have to leave my job and come and clean her. They're asking you to buy medication. Sheldon, it is heartbreaking. And is the government paying for it when they put people in place to get it? I have the pictures. I will not expose it, and I will not expose the name. I have the pictures where he's lying down, and he's supposed to get oxygen. The oxygen is by him, and it's not in his face. He's suffering. It might have hurt me to see that little child that died. You mean you're so busy, a baby had to die? Sheldon, it's heartbreaking to see the way St. Lucian are doing. They phone. Sit down, whole day. They're on their phone. They don't care with people, but they get a salary every month. But they're looking for minimum wage. They're looking for everything. And people are dying. It's not everybody that go to the hospital that's supposed to die. But it's because of the proper care they're not getting. That's why they are dying. Right. They're bleeding to death. They're staining. They're getting gangrene. Everything. They don't care. This is heartbreaking, Sheldon. To see somebody lying on a piece of Macintosh, 2 tables stick together, to put them in a big hospital too. It's heartbreaking to see your friend like that.
But let me ask you this. If they're doing those kinds of things, you have to ask yourself, where is management? Are there not supposed to be people managing who should be able to oversee those kinds?
But when somebody came and see the man, and they call a certain person, the certain person called management and said, I want to see that man on a bed right away. Why they get it right away for him? Which means they have it. They're just doing it to let the hospital say bad, to make the government look bad. Right. And it's not nice, Sheldon.
Thank you very much.
Things for the hospital. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Continue doing your good job you are doing.
Thank you very much. You know, I have to tell you, this isn't the first time I'm hearing this. I hear a lot of it. That the quality of service is poor because the commitment to service is lacking. That a lot of the people are working there and they do not have a service ethic about them. They do not have a commitment to serving. And so naturally the quality of service, while yes, things like shortage of equipment, supplies and personnel is an issue, many people believe what is really lacking is the service ethic and commitment. And I can't speak for hospital, but I do know in too many places in our public service, and I've seen improvements in some places, too many people are about their own business, talking to one another. Clearly you can hear it's not about things pertaining to work, like their little laugh and their little kiki, is more important than serving people. And if you try to talk to them, and it's not just in the public sector, there's a particular gas station that I used to love to go to because the family that owns that gas station, I'm basically like on good terms with all of them. But you see, when people are working for you, they can't do everything themselves. And I think I told you that I went to that gas station once and the lady who's on cash is checking for me. It's like nothing must pass her. She have to be in it. So there are people behind her talking some, and everything she punched one button on the cash register. So you have to turn back and add a piece. Yes, and I tell you, I saw him there, and then after I laugh, kiki, and then she come back, she punches one thing, and she turns back. So her concentration is not there at all. Eventually, she punches all the things, and it's when I'm picking up and I'm ready to go. I didn't punch in this cake or whatever for I didn't punch in that. So I said the reason is because you're talking too much. You're not focused on what you're doing. You have to turn around. How you mean I'm talking too much? I find you rude and indiscreet. I walked out of there and I said, gas stations now come a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. I don't have to go. I've never gone back to that gas station. But let me say that when it comes to the public service, hold on for me, caller, just hold on for me. When it comes to the public service, I have over the years seen improvements. I have seen, you see, they tell you about people nowadays and young people nowadays. Well, I'm telling you, the young people nowadays, they have brought in a more professional, a more committed, a more modern, a more courteous approach in a lot of areas. You see, the older people from long ago who felt they were planted there and nobody could take them out. I guess in the days where it was who you know and the politics and who you supported and so on, I find a lot of the more modern young people, Inland Revenue is a place I will always mention the joy of how people serve you there. The Land Registry is another place. The Post Office is another place. I find the courtesy and the professionalism, and I could name a lot of them, that having been around a little while and seen the evolution, they are doing a lot better, and I want to encourage them to continue. There are many places in the public sector. It is a joy to go there. The private sector would be hard-pressed to match them in terms of commitment, professionalism, courtesy, and those things. We have a call on the line. Hi. Good afternoon. Real Issues. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. How do you do, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm good. A lot of these workers, they are on their own mission. A lot of them, they are there to sabotage the government, to make the government lose, for people to lose interest, for people to get things to talk about. They are on their own mission. Not for their interest, for whatever side they support. So if they are supporting from above when they come to work, they are already pissed. So anything that comes around them, they don't solve nothing, they make everything look bad. And a lot of people, there's another issue too. There are lots of people, they take their home problems to work. So they have their problem outside of work, they come to work with it, and everybody pays for it. They come to work on their high horse. Even if you plead with them, you talk to them humble, they sting you. But it's not everybody who can do that too. Because trust me, when I come to you, I come to address you, I address you like a baby. And if you bring your high horse to work, the two of us will not end up good. Because trust me, I am just pretending to be human, but I ain't there. And when you bring your high horse, I will show you who have the horse. That is why I have told St. Lucians, do not take your money and do party you cannot afford. Always save something for wet days. Parce que Shelton, si je suis malade, je just passe avec comment aller where doctor c'est ici. Parce que je just regarder yo, je pas une bonne vision of you. Je te dis ouais aller where doctor c'est ici, moi oui va dans abattoir. Bon, je vais sauver en sous. Je vais pièce tu l'autre moi et je vais sauver en sous si maman malade me ça aller matinique ay traiter comme moi. Parce que moi dis bah the health service, I'm not blaming the hospital. A lot of our doctors, they are not good at all. They are just not good. I am not going to blame the hospital at all. A lot of the staffs are not good.
All right, thank you very much. You know, I don't know whether it is a case where people go to work and they have political sabotage in mind. I doubt it, that I'm going to go and I'm not going to work and I'm not going to put my best foot forward and I'm not going to perform because I want to make the labor or the flower. I don't think so, to be honest with you. People may have their side and so on, but at the end of the day, once people know they can go and they can slack around and they can, basically pussyfoot and don't do anything or don't do what they're supposed to do and just be engaging in banter and talking and not really attending to, once they know they can do it and they can get away with it, they probably will. Especially with government where people believe that their job is secure no matter what they do, they will almost never get fired, they'll get transferred, they'll get moved from there, and there's always union and this and that on their side. maybe there is that culture that whatever you can do, you could push the boundaries as much as possible for whatever you can do and get away with it. Perhaps it is the management at the supervisory level that needs to be tightened, Basically, look, you're supposed to be doing this. And even if there is no bed, there is this alternative. Have you called for an extra bed? Have you done this, that, or the other? Somebody who can be on their case, all the time. We have a call on the line. That'll be our last one, I think. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Hello?
Yes, hi. You're on the air.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air.
Let me tell you, the problem with the civil servants and the civil service, that has gone so far, then you have to nip it right in the jugular. And my advice to government, unless you change that colonial rule that you cannot fire a civil servant, all you can do is transfer them, you can lower their salary, you can do nothing, no discipline. The colonial people of England had that because they wanted black people to take care of their business. Now, the hospital, the problems we have with the hospital, because I was the minister, I was in charge of health, I know the problems. The problem is that you have middle management problems, they're not managing. And the problem that causes them not to manage is because you cannot fire them. You can only transfer them. So from the time they take off these rules, just like Lucy Leck, guaranteed...
Keith, can you stay on the line? We'll come back to you. We have to cut for the lotto now. Stay on the line.
Okay, all right, okay.
Tuesday, 20th August 2024 were Double Daily Grand 7, 13, 17, 20. Big 4, 6, 0, 4, 2. Big 4 Multi-X FP. Pick 2, 8, 5. Pick 2 Multi-X FP. 1 off. 4, 0, 3. Lucky 3, 7, 8, 5. Lucky 3 Multi-X, 5X.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Into a bit of extra time now, and on the line we have former Health Minister Dr. Keith Mondesi. Go ahead, Keith. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're back to you. Go ahead.
Yes. What I'm saying, the problem is so deeply rooted. It's a cancer. Now, the only problem you have to take it, that the government have to take a stand, is to start from the top. And what you do, the laws that the colonial white English people put protecting their properties in the Caribbean under colonization, you have to change the rules, because you cannot discipline anyone in the civil service, you cannot fire them, you cannot alter their salary because of a law. You have to change that law. And also another law that the government have to change before it's too late is guaranteeing Lucy Leck 15% profit every year. Now, if Lucy Leck make mistakes through management, the public pays for it, because they just get the cost of what the difference is going to be distributed among the people having electricity, get problem solved. These archaic laws have to stop. The civil servants, the generation from generation, changing their values. So you need to have laws, you need to have regulations like the private sector. If you are not doing your job, you know there are consequences. And you have to have that choice. The next thing again is that the middle management in the Ministry of Health right now has to be revisited. You don't need no consultant. You need the people starting from the CMO. You cannot tell me that you have people in charge of a pharmacy, in charge of a surgical unit. You have to know how much you use every week, every 2 weeks, every month. And you should have a percentage of your stock. When that goes to that percentage, you have to reorder. There's no business. If I was the minister, a lot of people will be shifting there in the Ministry of Health. And you find that it starts from the CMO. The CMO is the head person. The CMO has to have a more on-hand management and stop having meetings. Every week they have 4 meetings. The next meeting you ask them, what the minutes of the last meeting? They don't know the minutes of the last meeting.
Wow.
You must go through the management.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, yes.
Yes. It's management, middle management, and top management in the ministry.
Okay.
And one last advice to the minister. Do not take all their advice. Listen to them. You should have a little group of doctors that he have personally, like I did. When they come with a thing, I would check it with my group. And this group, I had 5 doctors not working in the home hospital, but I check with them when the permanent secretary come with something or they come with something. And you don't listen to everything because all of them telling you what you want to listen to.
Okay.
Because everybody looking for promotion.
Okay.
That's what I have to say. Unless you change that, the ministers put on hand in every ministry. On hand. They're listening to permanent secretaries and they're listening to deputy permanent secretaries too often. And those people play with your brains.
Okay.
And they know what you want to hear. And when you think you're doing good, couple smoke your pipe.
Okay. All right, Dr. Mondesi, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And I'm telling you, if they do that, change that law. And if the ministers do that, the ministers don't listen as much to them, go back and have your little research group outside and check them. That's what I used to do. And they never come and fool me. They could not fool me.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. I think we'll take our last caller. We have someone holding on. Hi, caller. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues. You're on.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to your listeners.
Hey,
Shelton, yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelton, one person I want to give some praise to in all that we have been saying there with service and how people take their job seriously and save people.
Yeah, speak up a bit, please.
I want to big up one guy, Shelton, one guy. His name is Dunstan Daniel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dunstan Daniel, right? I remember working under this guy. And the way Dunstan Daniel taught us to work, I think we have, they call him, his nickname is Chappy, something like this. But Shelton, if you work under this guy and you see the way this guy teach you to serve people, Shelton, I could tell you, St. Lucia will have a better public service because this guy damn know how to do some work. Okay. Man, this guy know how to teach people to work and service people with a smile. Shelton, after this guy taught me to work, to serve people, to run operations of service, Shelton. Whilst I was working at Den Jalousie, Shelton, I went through about 5 departments, just going up and up and up because of the way this guy taught me how to behave. The way that guy teach me to serve people. This guy, Shelton, he brings that love to you. You know, he asks you to serve. If you know you don't love what you do, just don't do it. You know. Okay. And Shelton, for the 2 months I was under this guy's hands, man, I could tell you there is no way in my life I will be working anywhere and work with grudges or treat people badly or this guy taught me a total different attitude. You see Dunstan the Mill, aka Chappy, this guy knows how to teach people to work, to service with a smile, Shelton. Okay. I have to big him up because from what I've been hearing, man, what I've been hearing about how people teach people and how people behave in the public sector, St. Lucia can't be like that. St. Lucia can't be like that. And I wish today that St. Lucia would really seek the services of Dunstan Daniel to really teach people how to serve people, man.
Okay. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of your day. Shelton, the hospital needs more doctors, nurses, and more health aides. A doctor has no time to feed and bathe a patient. I don't know if you're talking about doctors doing it, but nurses, orderlies, and so on. Don't you have special people who are supposed to do that? I don't even know for nurses. I thought you had, orderlies and nursing assistants and so on. Another person responds and says, true. However, I am not sure they are making smart enough use of what they have now. Are they pulling their weight? That's a good question. We have so many more comments on the... someone says, But then you must ask why. Maybe the commitment to service has deteriorated because of the working conditions. That is entirely possible. Someone else believes, good afternoon, good show, but it is sad to hear these things I am hearing. On 2 occasions, I have been to OKEU for my checkup, and it is very sad. I am very observant. Anywhere I go and do things, I make my eyes cook my peas, saying in the Creole, you know. I dread going to OKU. Why? Because of the things I see when I go there. I have to go there because I am taking a blood thinner, and the doctor has to revise the level it is at. Too much slackness in there. All right, folks, that'll do it for us for the real issues. Today, Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2024. Tomorrow, we'll have in studio as our guest the CEO of the National Utilities Regulatory Commission and Senator Dr. Alison Jean. She'll be in the studio with us, and lots we have to talk about. And on Thursday, Terence Fenelon is going to be back here with me. And on Friday, I can tell you, we have a big, very, very special guest who will be for the first time in the studio with us. Have a great time trying to guess who it is, all right? You probably will get it right, but we'll be having a guest in studio with us on Friday as well. Just before I go, I'm getting the message flashing. Hi, Shelton, you should ask Dr. Keith Mondesi to quote the law or regulation that prevents the discipline of public servants or officers by the Public Service Commission, contrary to the St. Lucia Constitution. Thanks. Maybe I can forward this to him, and he can perhaps give me his response via text or a voice note or something. It came in a little late for me to act upon it, as you would have suggested. That is the real issues for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for having been part of it. Before I go, let me give a big up and a shout out to my friend Skinny of Skinny's Chicken. Hey, my buddy, I haven't shouted you for a while, but I know you're doing your thing and keeping a lot of people happy in the process, as well as showing a lot of kindness and, humanitarian assistance to a lot of people. So pleased that you are doing that and making your contribution to bettering life in our country. Until tomorrow, same time, God willing, Shelton Daniel signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.